I'm Abigail Kirkman, and I work for the National SOAR Technical Assistance Center that is based in Del Mar, New York, which is right outside of Albany. SOAR stands for SSI, SSDI, Outreach, Access, and Recovery, and it's a method of applying for Social Security disability benefits for individuals who are homeless or at risk of homelessness, who are not able to work due to serious or persistent mental or physical disabilities. Even though I work for the National SOAR Technical Assistance Center and we work on the systems level, SOAR and Policy Research Associates really strives to put our work into practice by doing applications with eligible applicants in the local community. And that's how we came to be connected with Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless and how I came to know Russell.
So the first time I met Russell, I remember the exact moment. I was working at our Sheridan Hollow Drop-In Center. I was our housing supervisor. I had never seen Russell before. He walked through the door with a guitar and he just started talking. And there was just something in that moment. I just saw something in him. He just stood out. He just had a presence about him. He had an energy about him.
The first time I met Russell, I was sitting out in the lobby and this man burst in. He had a bunch of Christmas cards that he was giving out. He was loud and bodacious, and that's my first introduction to Russell.
So when I first met Russell and we started to talk about what he needed, he was homeless at the time, and so he was bouncing kind of from shelter to shelter through our homeless services system. And I quickly got the sense that Russell didn't have much of a support network.
Russell has shared with me about being homeless. He shares with me times when he didn't know where he was, or he was sleeping in a drop-in center, or even in a shelter, and how he never wants to return to that life.
He talked about, that he drank a lot, and that that was something that he sort of knew impacted him negatively. And just kind of through some of his behaviors, I could tell that there were some other things going on as well, some other challenges that he had. Ultimately, he was seeking housing assistance. That's why he came to us. And so it was through that process that we had connected very closely with Policy Research Associates and had really gotten a good sense of what SOAR is able to do.
I first met Russell a number of years ago. The staff at IPH had identified him as someone who was struggling, who really wanted to work, but because of his disabilities was not able to work. So over the course of about 2 months, I would get to know him. We would talk about his personal history, like how was his life growing up. We talked about his employment struggles. We talked about his substance use. So through getting to know Russell and completing all the Social Security Administration forms, communicating with the Social Security Administration, I was able to paint this complete picture. And that's really what SOAR is all about, painting the complete picture of the applicant to give to Social Security. And once we turned in Russell's application, he was approved for SSI in 41 days. And from that, he was able to get placed in permanent supportive housing. And now 4 years later, he's doing well. He's volunteering in his community and has really become an asset to Interfaith and the wider community as a whole.
Russell's process was by far the fastest. I knew that SOAR was effective. It blew my mind that he was able to be approved within 2 months.
Russell loves living in his apartment. Russell is very grateful to have his apartment. He's grateful that he can go to the store and get what he wants to get. He feels more in control of his life now that he's able to go out and make purchases like you and I do.
Russell, while he was here at our shelter, he volunteered here. He worked in our kitchen, he helped stock our shelves, and just sort of loved and took a lot of pride in that connection.
Russell volunteers at the Albany Historic Store. Russell absolutely is in love with this place, loves it.
Which is right up his alley, and I've seen his apartment recently, and he's very eager to show us all of the things that he's been able to get through that volunteer experience as well.
Now it's his volunteering and him being a part of the community, and it really enriches his life. The fact that he can say, well, somebody's expecting me. Someone wants me there. I'm scheduled to be somewhere. And he definitely puts that first and foremost.
He certainly takes a lot of pride in feeling like he's contributing to the community, and just when he has that structure and when he has that connection, you can just see it in his face. His face just lights up.
When you don't have enough money for a bar of soap, but you have money for alcohol and drugs, something wrong. No, that's, you know, now I'm doing grown-up games, if you know what I mean. Now it's, you know what I'm saying? I'm being responsible. So, but I'm happy. You know, I mean, that's all I could say, man. I could rest my head on a comfortable pillow. But as I said, you know, that's in the past, but I just like helping people because I volunteer. It's not. What do you volunteer? Oh, at the antique place. I help the customers, you know, and he sees that. And he winked at me the other day. It's like, you know, you're doing a good job. And, you know, now they're saying, hey, Russ, how you doing? They come in, it's like, hey, you know, and I like that because that welcomes them back. You know, I mean, that's a big thing for me, volunteering. I mean, wow. It gives me a high self-esteem. Okay. You know, it just gives me that oomph to get up every Saturday and go there, you know? And it's like, just to deal with the public. I would recommend SOAR to anyone that needs help. I mean, it was worth it, man. Yeah. I don't remember every specific thing, but I mean, you know, you're wonderful, Abby. You know? But again, man, I'm happy. I'm going to go to the Price Chopper after this and, you know, hang out. I could wake up every day knowing there's food in my refrigerator. I could wake up, I got clean clothes. Some people, I mean, some people don't have nothing. In other words, I'm just happy to be here, man. That's all I can say in a nutshell. I'm just happy to be here.